we had a couple of excellent NBA basketball games. 76ers and New York Knicks, Lakers and Nuggets. Both games ended in an absolute thrilling fashion. Guys were diving all over the floor. Bodies are flying. Guys are scrambling around. And next thing you know, here we are, right? Here we are. I will say, and I've talked about this before, I will say, as monotonous as the NBA season may be, the playoffs are great, especially when it's cutthroat, up tier, rivalry action like it was last night with the 76ers and the Knicks, Lakers and Nuggets. Knicks and 76ers ended with a thriller. There was some questionable non-timeouts given to the 76ers, and guys were diving all over the floor, scrapping for the ball. Referees let them play a little bit. And to me, that's how it should be. So it should be in the playoffs, how it should be in crunch time situations, unless it's a clear and obvious, blatant foul of sorts. I think in the postseason in general, that's how it's going to be. I think that's how it should be. I think if referees start to get a little bit whistle happy and blow on any and every call, it's going to start taking away from the action. Now, again, if it's egregious, if it's ugly, if it's bad, if guys are getting smacked, shoved, tossed, it's a foul. But when we're fighting and scrapping for the ball, especially when you're not even going up for a shot, like what happened at the end of that 76ers Knicks game, let the boys play. Let the boys play. A couple of clips to play for you after the Lakers and Nuggets game concluded, because the way it ended was awesome. Jamal Murray hits a buzzer beater shot after the Lakers were up by 20 at one point. Nuggets storm their way back, defend home court, get down to the final seconds. LeBron James has a wide open three-pointer under 30 seconds. Misses it. Nuggets rebound. They take it down the court with 10 seconds. No one calls timeout. Jamal Murray takes to the right elbow, pulls up for a mid-range jumper at the tie game, buries it at the buzzer. Lakers lose to the Nuggets, 101-99. Earlier in the game, there was a situation where D'Angelo Russell on the Lakers went for a shot, got smacked. I guess there was a challenge situation, or they were deferring, I guess, the call to the replay center in the NBA, and the Lakers were not granted the foul. The call did not go in favor of the Lakers. This was LeBron James after the game. Lakers just lose to the Nuggets on a buzzer beater shot, and this is LeBron at the podium.
I don't understand what's going on in the replay center, to be honest. I think I said it this year or last year, whatever. D'Lo clearly gets hit in the face on a drive. What the fuck do we have a replay center if it's going to go? It doesn't make sense to me. It makes no sense to me. It bothers me. Sorry I didn't answer your question, but that shit is like... And then I just saw what happened with the Sixers Knicks game too. What are we doing?
So that's LeBron James after the game. And then Anthony Davis was at the podium as well to answer some questions.
To kind of piggyback off that one, can you take us through that last play and just what happened and what unfolded? What was, I don't know if you were screened or what happened on that last play?
Jamal Murray made a shot.
As he storms off. Listen, okay, here's the deal. I'm not asking players to be happy after they lose. I'm not asking you to go to the podium, talk to the media, the big old smile on your face after you lose in devastating fashion. Last second buzzer beater shot, blowing a 20-point lead, missing wide open shots towards the end of the game, having more turnovers than the other team. I'm not asking you to go to the podium and look like you won after you lost. That's not realistic. But what the baseline expectation should be for these grown men that play sports for a living, that lose postseason games, big time games, to appease and fulfill their duties as professional athletes, to address the media. Believe it or not, it's part of their job. It's not a side piece that they're graciously granting their time for. It's part of the gig when you're a pro athlete. You got to talk to the media. And I'm not asking you to be the happiest guy on the planet. I'm not. Of course, it's devastating. It's frustrating. It's demoralizing. It's also not the end of the world. You're grown men. You're getting asked basic questions. And the only thing most of these guys seem to do is say everything they can besides taking accountability for the loss. It's just so coded in loserville, loser mentality to go into the post-game press conference after you blew a 20-point game, after you had more turnovers, after you missed a wide open three at the end of the game. And the only thing you could talk about is the officiating. When it was clear as day, not the story of the game. Ask anybody with the brain and eyes that's an impartial third party from an objective viewpoint, and they'd say, yeah, I definitely wouldn't say the officiating had a major impact on the game. And yet, that's all they can talk about in the postgame. Or they get asked about what happened there, defensive breakdown, final shot goes in, and they can't answer the question. How are you supposed to go back to your hometown, down 2-0, when that's how you present yourself after the game? I'm a teammate. I'm a fan. I'm anybody involved in that organization. Well, series is over. These guys are packing it up. It's done. We might win one at home, but I mean, if it's not a 4-0 sweep, it's a gentleman's sweep. I don't understand how hard it is for these professional athletes to get up to the podium, be a man, answer questions for 10 minutes, which, by the way, is part of the job. It's not some side thing that they graciously do with their own time. It's part of the gig. You have media obligations as a professional athlete, and they go up and act like they're donating their time, and they go and answer the stupidest questions ever and take zero accountability. Zero. It's always the official's fault. Always. The only thing LeBron James could talk about after the game is, what are we doing with the replay center? I mean, that's all I can think about. Sorry for not answering your question, but hey, LeBron, what about the wide open three-pointer you missed under 30? That probably gives your team the win, more than likely. What about that one? Was that one the ref's fault too? Was that on the officials? Hey, Anthony Davis, what happened there on that last play? Defensive switch. You end up getting on Jamal Murray there at the end of regulation. He fires a step back jumper, makes it to win. What was the defensive execution there? Jamal Murray made a shot. Throw the mic down. Are you a toddler? Like, what is that, man? Grow up. Take accountability. Be a man. I'm not asking you to do cartwheels into the media room and with a big old smile on your face after you lose in devastating fashion. But it wouldn't kill you to take a little bit of accountability, be a man, answer the questions with a little bit of conviction, and maybe present yourself in a way that's not completely demoralizing going into a homestand where you're already down 2-0. Just the lack of accountability from so many different parties in this NBA postseason so far when it comes to losing. The only thing Nick Nurse and the Sixers could talk about was how they weren't granted timeout at the end of regulation. How should have been fouled. There was scrap going on at the end of the game. How about the fact that they were up by like 7 points with under a minute and they lost the game? Is that just the ref's fault too? It's always the ref's fault. Always, always, always. Ask the GOAT of GOATs, the champions of them all, the toughest minded individuals in the history of sports. Have a full-on conversation with them. Ask them what it takes to be successful. Ask them what the difference is between not successful and successful people. And I promise you, none of them would even think about referencing officiating or referees, because that's not the deciding factor. And yet, that's all NBA players talk about after they blow 20-point leads, after they blow 6-7 point leads under a minute, after they miss wide open threes at the end of regulation or have more turnovers than the other team. All that stuff, that's on the refs, apparently. The officiating for the Lakers, I mean, how dare they have an even foul distribution? How dare they? It's not like the Lakers have, 400 more free throws than any other team in the last 2 years. It's unbelievable, dude. It is unbelievable. It's all they seem to be able to talk about. It makes no sense. It's so loser coded. It has zero accountability involved, and it's demoralizing and just shows everybody and anybody involved in the organization, series is over. We're down 2-0. We blew a 20-point lead. And now all we can do is complain about the officiating. Oh, well, series is over. Would it kill these guys to go in? LeBron, what'd you see there at the end of the game? You know, it was a tough call. Felt like there were some moments in the game where, maybe there was some contact that could have been called in our direction, but ultimately we did turn the ball over 8 more times than the other team. We were up 20 at one point. The defensive scheme we decided to roll out there in the back quarter of that game ultimately didn't lead to success. I had a wide open 3-pointer, didn't make it. We turned the ball over way more than them. And it's up to us to now go back to Los Angeles and take control of this series. That's it. It's just always the officiating. It's so loser coded. I'm sick of it.